I'm happy to answer some questions if you have questions. And after that, if you're still wide awake, we can do a loving kindness meditation, which takes about 10 minutes to do. But if you have any questions, you can ask. And do speak up loudly, please. I don't hear as well as I used to.
The sense of devotion that you spoke about, I experience as coming and going. Is there a way to develop that so it's more steady?
Do you feel devotion to the teaching or the teacher or your fellow meditators, or what do you feel the devotion to?
I experience as surrender. I drop away and I'm just feeling love for the experience of meditating at that moment.
That is excellent. That is the best way. And that sometimes doesn't work. Yeah, well, that's natural. Because if it would work all the time, you'd be enlightened. So when it doesn't work, then just remember how it felt to be when it did work. Just bring up that remembrance, how it felt when you didn't have that me sitting in there blocking things. And that remembrance, that does help. But it's totally natural. What else?
Actually, I've got one. You talked about fears being really traced to fear of death. And when I look at myself, and I've talked to other people that sort of feel the same way, a lot of people say, well, I'm not really afraid of death. Really what I'm afraid of is like suffering or longing, pain, or something like that. And if you're dead, you're just gone, and so what? It doesn't mean anything. Why do you really trace all your fears to fear of death?
Suffering in which way? In physical suffering?
Yes. Okay.
Physical suffering, like having a life-threatening disease, that type of thing, yes. Well, if you're no longer afraid of death, you're also not afraid of a life-threatening disease. And pain, which people are afraid of, very much pain, I mean, there's no reason not to use painkillers, none whatsoever, because the consciousness doesn't disappear. Just because when a person is what we call not conscious, they are not responding in the same way that we're used to, but their consciousness hasn't disappeared. Where's it going to disappear to? So there's no reason really to be afraid of unbearable pain. Life-threatening diseases, yes. Birth is a life-threatening disease. We're all threatened, right? And certainly one doesn't want to lie in bed and suffer a long time, but there is no reason why even that can't be used for a final liberation. Even that can be used. Anything can be used for final liberation. So one has to, the thing that the Buddha always said was, practice now, while you're still hale and hearty. You're still all right, practice now, and you'll be fine on your deathbed. It's all done then, but don't wait till then. So that's, it all links together, huh? Okay. Anything else? Yes.
As I understand Buddhist teaching, one of the objects is to rid oneself of the self. I have a little trouble with that in terms of Western society. It seems to me that if we don't have a sense of self, we hardly exist in Western society. So I'm I'm inclined to believe that you can't get rid of a self unless you have one to get rid of. And so there is some, it seems to me there's some virtue in developing one's sense of self, at least as an intermediary step towards getting rid of it.
Eastern society has exactly the same problem. There's no difference between Western society and Eastern society. Everybody operates with a me. The only difference in a Buddhist country might be that they've heard it more often, that they should get rid of it. But that's all. The other thing you said was that you think there's some virtue in developing it and then to get rid of it. We're not getting rid of something that doesn't exist. What we're getting rid of is of a wrong notion we have. We call it illusion. We have a wrong notion, and we get rid of that. And as we get rid of that, it sounds so easy. It isn't easy. Before one does that, one has to get rid of one's attachments. And before one does that, one has to get rid of one's identifications. Now, the identifications are all there to supplement, support, and really hold this self together. The identification of male or female, old or young, pretty or ugly, or attractive, rich or poor, intelligent, dumb, lawyer, doctor, toilet cleaner, whatever. All mother, father, son, daughter, identification are endless. So as long as we keep having them and we lose one, we substitute another. So as we have those identifications, we can look at them and see what they're based on.
Would you say that there is a certain inevitability about first having a sense of self? Just like a child initially
Yes.
might experience that the whole world revolves around that child. That's an illusion, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know whether it's possible to not have that illusion and still develop. That's really my question. Is there some place for a self in there as something on the way to something else?
It's inevitable. You're quite right. A person, a little person that gets born, only gets born because there was a sense of self. Otherwise, wouldn't get born. So the consciousness that gets born has that in it. So it's inevitable. And so what we're on about in the last analysis, which is called Nibbana in Pali or Nirvana in Sanskrit, which means, literally translated, means non-burning. No more burning, no more passionate holding on and wanting, because that illusion has been understood to be an illusion. So it's inevitable, yes. And also, you know, they're operating in the society. There's so few people that make it to find out that self's an illusion. Society will keep on operating. No worries. Yes.
I have an elderly acquaintance who is about 90, and she's just in an incredible life crisis. And I keep thinking to myself, the thing that would be more helpful to her than anything else is if she could learn to quiet her mind down, you know, and learn to meditate. I don't have any notion that she has any interest in anything like that. Is there any way to approach something like that? Or I mean, I feel helpless to be helpful. Okay?
Yeah, that's very difficult. Very difficult. The Buddha did not want his teaching to be used in a missionary way at all. He only answered questions, and he went where he was invited, and we do the same. So if your acquaintance doesn't invite you to say something, you can't really say it. But if your acquaintance says to you, "Oh, I'm so unhappy, what am I to do?" Well, that's an invitation. Then you can. Sorry?
I'll never hear those words.
Yeah, well, that's, you have to wait for an invitation, you know. It's, yeah, you can offer, it's, yeah, you know, it might not be possible in this life, you know. And all you can actually do then is have lots and lots and lots of compassion. And have it pour out of your heart so that that person may feel it, you know, as much as you can. That's about the best thing you can do. Yes?
The word consciousness is overly used these days in the West. And I grew up in Burma, you know, in the Buddhist culture, but I did not practice. So I'm reading a lot of the word consciousness. Could you make some comments about the Buddha's definition or explanation of consciousness?
Yes, well, consciousness, actually, there are two ways that it's explained in the suttas. The first explanation is, it's unfortunate, even in Pali, there's one word only for it. It's called vijnana. And the first consciousness is the sense consciousness. There is, the Buddha said, there is no abstract consciousness. What we contact through the senses, that's our sense consciousness, right? That's the first one. But then there's another one, and that is the one that we encounter in the meditative absorptions. And that is an experience of a different reality. And since we haven't got any other word, we use consciousness there too, you know. So in everyday life, or without the meditative absorptions, it's always sense consciousness. It's always one of the 5 khandhas, one of the 5 aggregates, one of the 4 mental aggregates. The first one that happens, sense consciousness. But in the jhanas we have also, but it's a totally different, without the senses. It's the same word. So those are the 2 ways. There's nothing else. Of course, in English we use it all the time. I'm conscious of this and I'm not conscious of that, and it's loosely used. Same like energy. Energy is overused and not explained. Yes.
Could you please name the 8 levels of meditative absorption that you alluded to?
What they contain?
Pardon?
The 8 levels, what they contain. The first 4 are only numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
But the first one is delightful sensation. Second one is joy. Third one is contentment. And the fourth one is equanimity, or, well, peace, quiet, stillness. And then the fifth one is infinite space. Sixth one is infinite consciousness.